please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. And we'll start out with item number 3, public comment. Is there any public comment? Mr. Flynn, come on up, state your name and address for the record. You know the deal. Jeez.
Michael Flynn, 85 Skokorat Street, Seymour, Connecticut. I'd just like to comment, I guess the rail fences were fixed below the Marine Corps League, but I've noticed that the cables need to be tightened on those things.
Okay.
They haven't been tightened. I also know over on Humphrey Street, the guardrail fence over there definitely needs to be clipped. The bushes are all overgrown around it.
Yep.
Looks like you got some rotten posts on that thing, too. Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Thanks, Mr. Flynn. Is there any other public comment? Any other public comment? Hearing no other public comment, we will go to item number 4, approve minutes from the July 21st, 2015 regular meeting. Can I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? The chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Next item, item number 5, first selectmen's report. There'll be some handouts as well that go along with the first selectmen's report. As a part of your handouts tonight, you will see a quick report from the Blight Enforcement Officer regarding activity over the last few months. I will read the report into the record now. It says, Dear Selectman Miller, during the spring and midsummer, 50 inquiries and inspections have been conducted related to blighted properties. Owners, this is a typo, have been receptive to remediation with average resolution within 1 to 2 weeks. Several properties, due to the scope of remediation, require more time to complete. Those owners and locations are monitored regularly. Currently, only one location is being pursued through litigation with our corporation counsel, and that is signed Mike Margansky, our Blight Enforcement Officer. Should you have additional questions, please let me know, and I'll have those addressed directly for you. So you can bring those to me, or you can email Mike directly, whichever you are most comfortable with. Also, as a part of your packets, I've attached the historical budget versus actual for the workers' compensation insurance for the Board of Education, dating back to fiscal year 2009. This is for informational purposes only at this point, based on our conversation from our last meeting. Discussion on how we will move forward with one inter-service fund is still ongoing. I expect to have a final recommendation to give to this board at the second September meeting. And just as a note, you can see the actual, which were the expenses that they actually had, and then that second column budgeted, that's what they budgeted each year within their budget. We continue to work on the closeout of the 2015 fiscal year budget. At this point, we are still looking at a strong surplus. It's now creeped up to about $140,000. That amount will be offset by the projected $321,000 deficit in the workers' comp line for the Board of Education. We have a very good understanding of how we will be addressing this situation. I expect to present this to the board at our August 18th meeting. I met with financial advisors, Chairman of the Board of Education, Chairman of the Board of Finance, myself, Doug Toney, and Rick Belden, and we have a solution. But it's actually a little confusing, so I'm going to have to walk it through slowly. So it will be an agenda item in our August 18th meeting. So it's not something I can do just as part of a first selectmen's report, because it'll get a little confusing for everybody.
I have two things I'd like to say.
With regards to this?
I do not think the town should be assuming the workers' comp for the Board of Ed. They are a separate entity, and I don't think it's right, and I think it's a bad precedent. And the other thing is, yike, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I really wonder if we should, well, aside from assuming the Board of Ed, deficit, I really wonder about the fact that You know, I've gotten a couple of phone calls regarding the fact that the roads are not being repaired. And I'd really like to know what the status is of that. I know we've got the steps 1, 2, and 3,
Mm-hmm.
but people are saying to me, nothing is being repaired.
Can I address that now, Brian, or no? No. I haven't said anything about the roads. I mean, I understand the workers' comp, but can I address the road part? No, it's not that, it's not that.
I'll reserve it to my
No, if I can answer now, I'll answer
Board
it
of
now.
Selectmen.
Yeah, no. No, everything is moving as we had projected, following the timeline. It's gonna be 43 roads that are completely redone. Robin Road is done, Bungay Terrace is done, Third Avenue is being reclaimed, Stoddard Street is being reclaimed, Swan, Johnson, Martha, Pershing. Those are all being, in the process of being reclaimed. They're about to start the heat in place process. They're doing all of the drainage on, Birchwood. They're gonna start on Bungay up through Botsford. So there's a lot that's going
Can
on.
you tell me what heat replacement is?
That's the process that we talked about where the long machine, remember, it comes, chews up the asphalt,
Oh.
adds the emulsion,
Yes,
puts it back down, and then another company comes and puts 2 inches of fresh asphalt on top. So that's designed for long, straight roads that don't have drainage issues. So a road like
okay.
Bungay is an example, where that's kind of a straight shot for, I think it's 2 miles, 2.5.
I just wanted you to know, I got 2 phone calls saying, are we repairing these roads or not?
They're being repaired. But they're being repaired the correct way. So drainage is being redone. This is just not what we've done in the past is we've just slapped down an overlay. Slapping down an overlay is putting a Band-Aid on the problem. We're not gonna do that. We're doing these roads the correct way.
So that's not the chip stuff?
No, that's chip sealing. These rooms are being completely reclaimed. They're being ground down. On your way, well, you won't see it now because it'll be dark. Well, if we get out quick enough, drive by the old center school and look to the right-hand side. 100 Bank Street,
Okay,
across from Seymour Lumber.
yep,
Look to the right, up Martha Street, and you'll see that's what most of the roads, that's what's gonna happen to most of the roads.
okay,
They're ground down 3 to 4 inches, and then new asphalt's put on top.
all right.
So.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And then so again, just getting back to the workers' comp, I'll go over more in depth with you on that at the next meeting, because again, it's gonna be a little confusing what we're doing. And it's something that I just can't do fast, so I'll have charts made so
All
everybody
right,
understands.
thank you.
And then finally, in response to the concerns of our animal control officer regarding lack of space and in an effort to provide the proper care and shelter for the number of rescue animals we house each day, I have completed a review of our direction going forward. After in-depth discussions with several other communities, I have determined that for now, it doesn't make financial sense for the town to consider a regional approach with regards to our animal shelter. Due to buy-in costs and other factors, there is no short-term or long-term benefit for Seymour to make the move at this point. With that being said, we've begun to take steps to make upgrades to allow the current shelter to remain in place for the next 3 to 5 years. Over the last 2 weeks, we have invested a bit under $6,000 in upgrades and will continue to make improvements over the next several weeks. I expect the overall process to take between 2 and 3 months. During this 3 to 5 year time frame, we will begin the process of creating a formal plan to provide for the needs of this community over the long term. Those plans could range from an expansion of our current facility, to build a new facility for just Seymour, or to partner with another community on a new joint facility. As of now, the plans are in the initial stages and have not been completed. Later in the fall, I'll be putting together a group of residents to take part in the process and to provide feedback to the Board of Selectmen. Please be assured that in the interim, we will do all we can to provide for the needs of the community. So with that, I will close the first Selectmen's report. And we'll move on to item number 6, discussion with Director of Community Services Director Mary McNellis. Okay, we had asked to have Mary come in after a couple months, when she got her feet underneath her, just to give us an update as to where things stand. So with that, Mary, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's
you.
do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last 3 months have been extremely busy. The focus has really been on increased communication with our residents and program development. So our first two big projects, and one both that we've launched in the past 2 weeks is, if you flip to the second page, we have released an online registration system. It's a place where residents can go to see all of our programs and activities. Everything from library to multi-generational, to trips, to activities, to sports events, travel, you name it, it's here. Residents have the opportunity to sign up online, Visa, debit, or come in person. We're still taking a number of people in person to register, via chaperoning everybody that they want to do it. But the response has been great on this. In the past, it released about a month ago. We have about 200 people that have actually used the system at home versus coming in. We have another, I don't know, probably another 100 or so that come in and we register them right in the house. So the response has been great. I think it's one place where they can find all of activities, trips, and so forth. I think it's only going to get better over time. So that was our first project. Our second project that's really been going on is the release of Community Services Facebook page, which is another means of our communication efforts. This released about mid-June or so. We have close to 1,500 followers. Last week alone, we posted, we had about 1,000 people that didn't comment but liked our posts. We have about 280 people just this past week alone that either liked, commented, or shared the posts that we're putting out there. The posts on Facebook are really, our effort is to reach out to people 2 times, probably about 10 times a week. We're looking at least one post per day. And that'll, as time goes, it's really dependent on what programs, activities, what information around town is going on and what's happening. So the response to this has actually been great as well. As far as program development goes, we've had people come in now that I'm here, and I think they're coming to see Lucy and Missy a good amount now as well. We've incorporated a number of new trips and activities, including, we have a Mets game that we just did that was sold out. We've got a trip to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, an outlet shopping trip that's planned. Do you want to?
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
We have a Christmas spectacular show that's going on. The response that we've been getting is really, there's a good amount of requests for day trips. And people are looking for day trips as well as activities right in the community center. So that's the avenue we're taking right now to incorporate some of those. We're doing a lunch and learn series as well, where we're bringing in AARP. They're doing a number of different series for us. We're doing a fraud alert. We're doing a livability seminar, so those are going on as well right now as well. As much as, in addition to some additional day trips as well with doing this. So that's where our programs are going. And then moving forward, by the end of the year, we'll have a full communications plan in place. We're looking at some additional communication mechanisms, such as putting a full calendar come probably the beginning of the year is my goal, into Voices. So it's in print format as well, so that we're not only using online, but we're reaching out to those people that are looking at newspapers and so forth, as well as possibly a monthly newsletter, which we're exploring right now as well. So that's where we are with communications and program development. Questions, comments?
Have you seen a lot more people come in since when you first started compared to now? And if so,
Yes,
how much would you say? Give
I
it
think
a-
definitely, but I think that's also because we're doing more programs now.
Uh-huh.
We're doing more activities. So, yes, the traffic's increased. I think there's more of us there now, so the doors are open and, people are coming in even earlier and a little bit later. We're seeing more traffic like 4 o'clock to 5:30 even.
Oh, great. Okay.
Which is great. There's always been someone there, but I think they know there's more people in the building now, so we definitely see an increase. We're also getting a number of requests for people using the facility as well, the community wanting to use our facility and space, which is interesting. So I think word is getting out there that we're there, we're open, and we're really trying to beef up programming activities.
Great, keep it up.
Awesome.
I have a
Yeah,
question.
go right ahead.
Besides Lancaster,
Mhm.
is the only other trip that you have planned is to New York City, to the Radio City?
For the fall, yes, we have Mets, which is, we had Saratoga that was scheduled for this week, that looks like. we may
I'm
have
going to
cancel that.
Saratoga.
You are? Yeah, I know. So I think we're gonna have to reschedule that one, because I think that one won't go, so we had Saratoga planned.
I
We
thought
have
it
the
was
Mets-
sold out.
Not ours.
We're going on Friday.
You're going on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. We have the Mets trip that was sold out as well that we did. We have the Pennsylvania trip, and then we have the Christmas Spectacular. Those are the only larger trips.
That's
we
Radio
have.
City?
Radio City,
Okay.
yes. We are doing Berlin, we have requests for local fairs, so we're gonna go to Bethlehem Fair in the beginning of September. We're also going to go to the Greek Festival up on Racebrook Road in Orange in
Oh.
the beginning of September. We have a community services bus, so we're able to transport people so that they don't have to deal with traffic and parking and so forth. So those two things are being planned as well for the beginning of September. So those are in the works. And then for the spring, we have, right now, we've secured tickets for the Schubert Theater, which this is all, if it's not on our online registration system, it will be within the next month. For the spring, we've secured tickets for Annie, and we're looking at securing tickets for Jersey Boys as well. And then we have some.
I
trips
saw
up-
that.
Yeah, did you see it?
I did see it.
So, and then we're exploring a couple of larger trips as well. Believe it or not, Italy's come up. And DC, I don't know if those will I don't know that those will happen.
A trip to Italy?
Well, we're talking about possibly working with another town and merging and getting a trip to, go overseas. So I don't know if that'll take place, but we are looking at some other trips as well. Yeah, we've got requests, so the challenge is to get enough people that want to do these larger trips.
Sign me up.
So it's really gonna be based on what the residents want and if we have enough people. So we may have to team up with another town or someone else to bring enough people, together to do the larger trips.
Okay.
But if you get any questions, please have them call me, have them, stop in and see us, and we can walk them through, what we're doing, and we're taking feedback continually on what we wanna see. What the residents are looking for.
Now, the trip to Italy would be,
It's not planned yet, it's just,
Oh.
it's a little twinkle in the eye. It is spring though, if we were to do it, it's a twinkle. I'm
See-
glad you're interested though, because you're probably the third or fourth person that said that they're interested.
I've done it 3 times, and
Mhm,
it's,
mhm.
That's
See.
one of the things that we're doing differently now that Mary's leading is we're planning out well in advance. So we'll have a good understanding of spring and summer
Right.
of 2016, whereas in the past, we've waited until February, March, or April to start making those plans, which is not a good thing. So
Right.
the sooner we can get
Good. I mean,
that communication out there, the better.
And eventually,
for
maybe
people.
we can get yearly big trips done,
Yeah,
moving
yeah.
forward.
I think it's gonna be a little down the road. We're trying to get at least one out there so that we could test the waters.
sign me up.
I got your name.
And the communication, and I think we'll probably end on that unless there's more questions. It's the end of the year and target with the 10-year Strategic Planning Commission. Rory's working on, as well with myself and our intern Grace, on improved communications out of the First Selectman's office. So it'll all tie in together. So, now, when would you like to see Mary back again?
I got a couple questions first.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. Go very far away.
First of all, from the senior end,
Yes.
okay, how does someone who is the senior now wants to join the senior center, how do they go about that?
They can come in and see us.
Yep.
They can register online, which we're finding some of them do want to and some of them don't want to. But same way as always, they come in. If Lucy's available, she takes them. If not, they'll be forwarded down to me, who's in the other office. There's people all around to do it for them, so nothing's really changed on, registering.
Is there a dues structure with the seniors?
It's been the same. We have not changed that as of right now. It's $5 for a yearly membership with seniors. Anyone over 80 is free forever.
And that
So-
five goes right to you, your office, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah, and
Okay.
it's used for activities within,
Well, the 5.2 is designed to help
For the
offset the cost of
newsletter.
mailing.
Yeah, I understand that, yeah, that's,
but it's going towards,
Mhm.
for a senior program.
okay. Now to the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
Are you doing anything with the skate park?
I'm not, as far as, tell me what you're looking for.
Well,
I mean, I watch it, I
I-
make sure there's
yeah,
nothing going
well,
on.
I had mentioned the first time you were here that
Yeah.
I thought we should probably maybe do a program with the skate park and have someone teach these young kids how to use the skate park. I think you could have, it's getting late in the summer now, but I mean, there are kids out there that are willing to teach
Mhm.
these younger ones how to use the skate park. And, I thought that would be a good thing. It would give the older kids a sense of responsibility as well.
Yeah.
They take pretty good care of that park. I mean, they're
No, it's in great
proud.
shape.
Yeah, they're proud of what they have there, and even as far as, policing it, cleaning it up and stuff like that. Because, I was on the skate park committee, and I really would like to see something done with it, to show the younger kids how to use it as well. This is the older kids. The older kids some of them are really good at it.
Yeah, they are.
And along those lines, I work at a uniform shop, and we had a bunch of small shirts that we weren't using for anything. So I had some made up with the Seymour Skate Park logo on it, and I wanted to give them to you in case somebody would be interested down there.
Great.
But, got a bunch of these laying around. I asked the boss if we can make them up. We embroidered them up. I had like 9 shirts
Cool.
laying around, so
That's great.
they're for
You
you.
want me to just,
Whatever you want, whatever you feel is
Okay.
right to do with them.
all right, that's wonderful, thank you very much.
Yep.
I will put on our list to look into, it'll probably have to be, I think in the spring now.
Yep.
Because kids are going back to school, but we can put that on the list of what we can do at the skate park and possibly
Maybe
doing some type of.
even a Saturday program once,
Yeah.
the school's in session too.
Yeah, yeah, it might be something we can look into, I have to
Yeah.
research it a little bit.
Okay.
Anybody else? I didn't mean to cut people off. I thought we were done. Sorry about that, Paul. Anybody else? No? So again, back to, when would we like to see Mary back for another update? And again, this is a new department that we put in, so how often would you want to see updates? Every couple months?
Yeah.
At least 3 months.
Quarterly at least.
Quarterly would be great.
So you want to say October, November,
Yeah.
that time frame
Yeah.
again? Before the end of the year?
Great.
Right, so October or November? And again, if anybody has any questions, I mean, you can go obviously call Mary, email Mary directly,
Yeah, absolutely.
or you can obviously route questions through me or Rory as well. Okay? Excellent.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, item number 7, discussion take possible action regarding presentation of award for Dr. Nanavati. In your package, you have a letter. It says, "Dear Mr. Miller, this is my 35th anniversary of practicing veterinary medicine in Connecticut. I've been helping the dog pound of Seymour since then. I am on the verge of retirement. This is probably the last citation I might get. The last selectman honored me with a plaque about 5 years ago. I'm enclosing a copy of the plaque for your reference in case you decide to honor me at this time. Thank you. With regards, Dr. T.C. Nanavati." So at this point, I'm going to ask to table this until our August 18th meeting, simply because the plaque is not prepared yet. It has been ordered, and Dr. Nanavati will also be here at the meeting on the 18th. So I'll entertain a motion to table.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Anne Marie, second by Al. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Item number 8, discussion, take possible action regarding establishment of Community Services Board. This is something that we're still in the process of working on. Again, I'm going to ask to table this. Rich has been doing some research. I want to look at what our options are based on Mary's report tonight. Thought it would dovetail nicely with the direction that she's taking this department. I thought it would make sense to have a board. But the thing we need to review and look at is, what is the place now of the Recreation Commission? What is the place of the Commission on the Aging? Do we combine the two into one? Do we have 3 independent boards? We're going to have some things that we're going to need to discuss, particularly with 2 of those boards being in the charter. So I've asked Rich to take a look at the language and come back to us with some options. At that point, the 7 of us can decide which direction we'd like to go and move forward. So, again, I'm going to ask to table this to our August 18th meeting.
I make a motion table to the August 18th meeting.
Second.
Motion by Anne Marie, second by Nicole. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Item number 9, discussion and take possible action regarding motion to authorize the first selectman to execute letter of concurrence for center line rumble strips. In your packet, you have a letter to myself from Charles Harlow, which is the manager of traffic engineering, the Bureau of Engineering and Construction for DOT. And what they are looking at is putting in rumble strips in specific areas across the state, and they are asking for our sign-off. In reviewing this with Rich, we did not think that we needed to bring this to the board, but just to be on the safe side, thought I'd bring it forward, if nothing else, for informational purposes for everyone. But as you can see, if you flip to the second page, they'll be doing rumble strips from the Ansonia Town Line to Route 67 on North Main Street.
Yep.
And they'll also be doing rumble strips on Route 34, so they'll be connecting to those that have already been put down for Derby. I know some of us have voiced some concern with regards to that area. And then on the last page, you can see they'll be doing rumble strips on Lower Derby Avenue, on Cedar Street, on Upper Derby Avenue, then on sections of Route 34, Route 67, Route 313, and Route 334. And you can see the attached letter as well. So at this point, then, that I will ask for a motion, and Brian, correct me if I don't do this correctly, to allow, or to authorize the first selectman to execute the letter of concurrence for the center line rumble strips for the town of Seymour with the Connecticut Department of Transportation.
So moved.
Motion by Karen, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye, and motion passes 6-0. Item number 10, discussion take, and your numbers may be different than mine in a minute, because I have some notes in here, so. Discussion take possible action regarding execution of the Connecticut State Library LSTA grant program. In your packets, you have a letter from the Connecticut State Library Division of Library Development to Suzanne Garvey, who is our librarian, as you all know. And then you also have some specifics on the grant itself. So what I'll do first is I'm going to read the letter, and then I'll go back and ask for your approval on the resolution. It says, "Dear Suzanne, subject to the fiscal year 16 LSTA competitive grant program, I am pleased to inform you that the Connecticut State Library Board voted approval of your application and revisions for a grant in the category Programs for Older Adults in the amount of $4,935 at their June 8, 2015 meeting. Your grant period will begin on July 1st, 2015 and end on June 30th, 2016. You'll be receiving your grant contract and other material under separate cover. In the meantime, let me congratulate you on your award. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact." And it gives the name and number of the coordinator, and it's signed by Dawn Lavalier, the Director, Division of Library Development. So with that being said, I'm going to read the following resolution. Resolved that W. Kurt Miller, the duly elected first selectman, is empowered to execute and deliver in the name and on behalf of the town of Seymour a certain contract with the Connecticut State Library, State of Connecticut, for the LSTA grant in the category Programs for Other Adults. I have a motion to accept the resolution as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Karen, second by Nicole. Is there any discussion?
You want to give us money, we'll take it.
Yeah. Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye. Motion passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda, item number 11, discussion take possible action regarding awarding of bid for the 1979 Dodge Power Wagon Custom 400 Mini Pumper. As you know, we took 2 of the mini pumpers offline in the springtime. One of those pumpers is currently being used by emergency management. The other pumper was to go out to bid. We followed the the charter provisions, put it out to bid, and we received no bids. So, Brian, at this point, since we put it out and we received no bids, can we reach out to specific people and have conversations with them regarding the vehicle? Okay. So I will inform the chief, as we all know, prior to going out to bid, the chief, in good faith, had conversations with some people, and some people did make some offers on the vehicle, but unfortunately it didn't follow the bid process. So I will relay this information to him and ask him to reach out to those people. Karen?
I don't understand, are we buying or are we selling
We're selling.
a 1979?
Yes.
Oh.
There was 2 old, they're like the little mini pumper trucks that were designed to go into the woods. They were replaced by a new all-terrain vehicle that we just purchased.
No, this is at Citizens?
One was at Citizens, one was at Great Hill.
There are 2?
There was two. One was stripped down, and is being used by emergency management, and this was the other. That the firemen asked, or the fire commissioners asked that we put out the bid. So we put a minimum price on 5,000, is that correct, Rory? Yeah, and I know we received some offers at that, but that was prior to the bid process, and since we have to follow
All right.
the process, which included posting on the town bulletin board,
Mhm.
which is part of our bid process now.
Forgive me, but the one that's at Great Hill,
There's none at Great Hill anymore.
oh,
That went to emergency management.
One went to emergency management, one was actually sitting out in this parking lot for a couple weeks. I'm not sure where it is at this point. They've moved it somewhere. Public Works? Get it out of the parking lot.
okay, well, forgive me for I live in a neighborhood where there are no fire hydrants.
These are little pumper trucks designed to go in the woods. These are not the big pumpers. These are little.
In the woods?
Yeah.
Fires and all.
Yeah, brush fires and things. They have a new piece of equipment now that they just bought for, how much was it, 70,000?
Something like
That's
that.
designed to replace these. So-
Now, Nicole, you don't have any hydrants in your neighborhood either.
No.
So this doesn't affect, God forbid,
It doesn't affect the fire coverage.
okay,
No.
all right, thank you.
If they didn't replace the truck, then yes, it could affect the fire coverage, but they have the replacement for the truck.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yep, not a problem. That's why you gotta live down in Seymour proper, like Paul and I. We got a fire hydrant, right, Paul?
And the river.
That's right, bingo.
Well, I live in a McMansion.
Yeah, I didn't wanna say that, Karen, but since you brought it up.
Nicole?
Al?
No comment.
Anne Marie? Listen, there's nothing wrong with being a regular folk like Paul and I down here in the Seymour proper.
Is there a song, four-sided town?
That's right. That's right, we live on this side of the track.
Bourgeoisie, oh dear God.
Brian, you're gonna have
So-
a clean.
Talk about
Yeah,
Karl
yeah.
Marx.
Lot of green,
Yeah,
lot
but
of
Karen,
green
no,
up here,
Karen,
huh?
Karen, good point, but no concern. The truck will replace the needs for that. That truck will be
Well,
housed
my-
at Great Hill.
My concern, and I've said this to you
But if your house
before,
catches on fire, they're not sending this little truck.
but my concern is that they're gonna pump the water out of Bobby Rich's pond into my house.
Well, that's another issue.
It's a clean
Fire
pond.
doesn't matter where the water's
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
it's
water. Take
Well,
what you
Nicole,
get.
same thing with you.
They'll take, I don't care where they get the water
As
from.
long as the
just
fire
get it on
stops
my
burning,
house.
that's right.
Jesus.
So, all right, so I'll reach out to the chief. The chief is actually away. He will be back on Friday, I believe. So I will send him an email and have him reach out on that. Okay. Item number 12, discussion take possible action regarding LED streetlight conversion. Again, Rich is still working through the questions that we gave him. So he will have a full report, and I think it would be fair to ask Brian to reinvent the wheel. So again, I'll ask to table this until our August 18th meeting.
I make a motion to table to the August 18th meeting.
Second.
Motion by Anne Marie, second by Al. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. The chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Okay, I'd like to make a motion. Now, Brian, again, guide me through this. I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda, discussion of possible action regarding the 2015-2016 WPCA budget.
So moved.
Motion by Anne Marie, second
Second.
by Nicole. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? The chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda, discussion of possible action regarding 2015-2016 WPCA budget. Okay, in your packets, you should have a little note. A notice of motion made at WPCA board meeting on August 3rd, 2015. Anne Marie Dragonis made a motion. Tom Kuza seconded to submit for fiscal year 2015-2016 the WPCA budget that was passed in 2014. So what the WPCA board is requesting is that we accept a budget which is the same as the budget for fiscal year 2014-2015. That would hold the rate per billable unit to $4.10, or potentially even a little bit less as we recalculate the billable units. So we received all of the information on the 2014-2015 budget, which we approved with all of the detail. So at this point then, I'll entertain a motion to accept the WPCA's request from their August 3rd, 2015 board meeting to hold the billable, the rate per billable unit to $4.10 to match the 2015 fiscal year budget.
So moved.
Motion by Nicole.
Second.
Second by Karen. Is there any discussion on that?
In our, it says 454.
454. This is the budget that's where the confusion would come in.
Thank you.
This is the budget, that's why I want to explain it in discussion. This is the budget that was put together by the Operations Department in Town Hall, taking into account all the estimates, as well as the full depreciation amount that is listed in the audit. As you recall, last year, we got a legal opinion from Town Council saying that while the charter makes reference to the depreciation level, or of the need to put depreciation in the budget, it doesn't identify the level. So what WPCA is asking is that we keep the depreciation amount the same. So instead of, you look in that budget, the $526,000, they're asking that we keep it in the $375,000 range like they had last year, which will in turn lower that billable rate from the projected $4.54 that Tony calculated down to that $4.10 range. Now again, that number may change slightly because of the difference in billable units from the previous year's budget to what this budget would be. But it would be $4.10 or less, depending on those calculations. So that's where that came from.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking the question. Probably should have said that in the beginning, would have taken a little confusion. So, I mean, good thing, WPCA is working to keep the rates where they are. So, any questions on that? Everybody's good? Okay. Just one note, and I've had this conversation with the chairman as well as the vice chairman and the council for WPCA. This budget actually should be before us at the May meeting. So they were a little outside of the norm. There was a little miscommunication on their end. They have had their rate meetings and everything, they just didn't send it to us. So, but that has been corrected, so. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain?
The chair votes aye. Motion passes 5-0-1, and please note Anne Marie's abstention. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda. Discussion, possible action regarding awarding of the rubberized asphalt track at Seymour High School.
So
No, wait, hold on. Number one first. Okay, I apologize. I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the motion to reject all bids presented to the turf committee for the rubberized asphalt track at Seymour High School.
So moved.
Motion by Anne Marie. Second by Paul. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye. Motion passes 6-0.
So now, Mr. Selectman, you voted to reconsider, so you have the original motion from the last meeting before this body, and that was a motion to reject all bids, send out for bids, so that is a motion before it's on the record.
Okay.
And it should be addressed, the steps we voted on tonight.
Okay.
Before you, the motion from the last meeting is a motion to reject all bids and fill out for rebid.
Okay, so we will be re-voting on that specific motion.
That is correct.
Okay, so I'm going to read the motion. And the motion is to reject all bids presented to the turf committee for the rubberized track at Seymour High School. Can I have a motion? So, but do we need,
Now, that motion is.
been made and seconded? Okay, so now we're going to take action on that. If we vote in favor, we stay as we were and all of the bids are rejected.
That is correct.
If we vote no, then the motion fails, and we still have bids in front of us. Okay? Everybody understand that? Because I can't tell anyone how to vote. That would be a no-no. Okay. there's no other questions or comments,
What are you saying to me?
I'm just saying hi.
I just want to know why,
Hold on, we can't do that yet, hold on.
oh,
We can't do that yet, can't do that, hold on. Is everybody good?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Abstained?
abstain.
Okay, the chair votes no. Motion fails. 5-0, 5-1, and note Karen's abstention. Okay? All right. Make a motion to add to the agenda, discussion of possible action regarding the rubberized asphalt track at Seymour High School.
So moved.
Motion by Paul, second by Nicole. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Abstain.
Chair votes aye, motion passes 5-0-1. Note Karen's abstention. Okay, now the item is on the floor. Okay, let me read the letter first, Karen, then you can ask your question.
Okay.
Okay? Because I know what your question is going to be. So, just want to do it at the right time. Okay, in your packets, you have a letter to myself from project engineer James Galligan. It reads, Dear Mr. Miller, Nafis Young Engineers Incorporated opened bids for the repair and resurfacing of the existing track surface of Seymour High School on July 1st, 2015. The low bidder was Dalton Track and Tennis from Cheshire, Connecticut. Their original bid was $229,000. The bid price was above the projected budget allotted for this work. Nafis and Young revised the scope of the work and received a credit in the amount of $61,000, therefore reducing the cost of the project to $168,000. The Seymour High School Field Committee voted at their July 27, 2015 meeting to approve the revised price and direct Nafis and Young to issue a change order, reducing the cost of this work down to $160,000. Therefore, Nafis and Young Engineers Incorporated recommends execution of the attached change order and award the reference project to Dalton Track and Tennis from Cheshire, Connecticut in the amount of $168,000. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Sincerely, James H. Galligan. Okay, so that's where we stand now. If you remember at our last meeting, we had some general discussions about this. In error, we voted to reject all of the bids, which in turn did not allow the turf committee to then take action on this. So what we've done is we've rescinded that motion and that vote, now allowing the turf committee to move forward with this if we so choose. Karen.
I really wish someone could explain to me why blue to black is a $28,000 difference.
I will defer the answer to that question to our two members of the turf committee.
The
Paul
best
and
answer,
Nicole.
in manufacturing, it costs more to do it in the blue.
Because it starts out as black.
Yep.
The base color
Everything's
is black.
base.
So to make it any color, therefore it's
There's an
more
additional
expensive to
expense.
add any color to it. And blue is one of the most expensive colors to use.
Is it something that's worth it to this town to have a blue track?
Well, here's the thing, it's a grant from the state, so the money's there, we're using it all to do the improvements up on that field.
And let me put it to you this way too, Karen. You have a lot of interaction with the kids at the high school.
I do.
They want a blue track.
I know they
It's
do.
one of the school colors. So,
We're blue and gold, for God's
well, then
sakes.
that's why we have to pay a little bit more money
I wanted a blue football
For-
field.
for the blue track.
I wanted like Boise State, but
And
we
it's,
voted on, we had the
it's
pros and
covered.
cons, and
It's
that-
Kurt,
covered
what
in
did
the
you,
grant.
what did you say?
I wanted a blue football field like Boise State, but that would have blown the budget.
That would have been a lot more
A
expensive.
blue football
Oh,
field?
it's awesome.
So it's in our
Boise State's
budget,
field is awesome.
it's part of the grant from the state,
Yep.
and that's what the,
So it's not really gonna cost Seymour?
No, no,
this whole project isn't costing Seymour
It's
anything.
part of the grant.
It's a grant.
it's part of the grant that Teresa got.
1.89 million that we all voted on as a board for it. So it's not costing the town.
But when I voted, I thought I was voting for a blue track.
You
I
are.
mean, originally, let me just say, I didn't even know I was voting for track.
We have no say in the color. We are simply approving or disapproving what the turf committee has already decided.
And let me, if I may, Kurt, when you first
We
voted,
wouldn't pick a color, that's them.
we didn't have all the bids in
Correct.
on everything when you first voted.
Right.
And that's why a blue track was included. not just-
Yes.
when we didn't have the bids, and once we got the bids in, we saw what it was, if we were to redo the whole track and put, all the new rubberized track, a whole new
A brand
rubberized
new
track,
track.
it would have cost us a whole lot more money.
Yeah.
Didn't have
And
enough
we wouldn't have
money.
been able to do other parts of the project that we want to do.
But, Paul, what you don't understand, I'm saying, I didn't even know we were replacing the track. I thought we were doing the field.
And the truck.
I didn't realize that we were tearing up the track.
We're not tearing up the track.
No.
We're putting an overlay, a two-layer system overlay on the track. Not taking it down.
Underneath the rubberized, there's asphalt that is not being taken up. That is in, as I had mentioned once before, better shape
No,
than it
I
goes.
understand that, but
So-
I didn't, when I voted, I didn't know that
The track,
the-
yeah, track's
the
always been improved.
top of the track,
I think it was something that was on a wish list for the committee, that if they had the funds available, that they want, I mean, you two correct me if I'm wrong, that they would do if the money was available. They were able to, hard work and diligence, controlling their budget, there's some extra funds available, so they're moving forward with the track. But there's no addition, the town is not paying anything towards this, this is all coming out of the 1.9 million grant.
And this is one of the items on our wish list, was to do the track. So we felt it was important enough with the remaining
Well,
funds to do.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, I used to walk that track every day, and I didn't even realize what bad shape that track was in, because I didn't run, I walked. I didn't realize that that was part of this project.
Okay, any other questions or points of discussion? No? Okay, and okay, then at this point, I'll entertain a motion to award the bid to Dalton Track and Tennis as modified by change order recommended by Nafis and Young to reduce the cost to $168,000.
So moved.
Motion by Paul.
Second.
Second by Nicole.
You
Sure.
heard me?
Just want to make sure. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye, motion passes 5-0. Hi, Ms. Bruno, how are you? Thanks for coming tonight. 6-0. 6, I apologize. Thank you for correcting me yet again today, Rory. Okay, item number 15, which is my number 15, which is a little different for you guys. Which is executive session. We have no executive session. Item number 16 is appointments. We have 3 appointments tonight. One is a little bit of a change for Pete Wools as a fire commissioner. It's an appointment, but it is to, he will run until the regular term expires, which is which is December 4th, 2016. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Anne Marie, second by Nicole. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Rory Burke, 10-year Strategic Planning Committee. It's a new appointment. It's a 2-year term. It expires July 30th, 2017.
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Joe LaRova, Recreation Commission, it's a reappointment. It's a 2-year term. It expires August 3rd, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Nicole, second by Paul. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Item number 17, tax refunds and abatements. Nicole?
Dated July 30th, 2015, to the Board of Selectmen from the tax collector, the following overpayments of tax payments in total of $2,309.78 need to be approved for refund in accordance with the provisions of Section 12-129 of the Connecticut General Statutes. Dana Clock, Tax Office.
Thank you, Nicole. I have a motion to accept the tax collector's report as presented.
So moved.
Motion by, I don't know, we'll say Karen, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye, motion passes 6-0. Item number 18, we have no transfers. Item number 19, the only correspondence that we have the check register, but again, we have a few other correspondence that were actual parts of the meeting. So at this point, we'll move to item number 20, public comment. Mr. Flynn, you can speak on anything you'd like.
Lynn, 85 Skokorat Street, you know, Karen brought out about people complaining about the condition of the roads in town. I don't think it's a Band-Aid approach if we send the guys out to patch periodically certain segments of the town. Now, the bottom of 3rd Street Hill is in a very sorry state of affairs. If you've ever been there, I drove down there the last time. Somebody's going to get a broken spring on that. That's, you know,
It's being completely redone.
it's going to be redone?
Mhm.
Yeah, but in the meantime,
Oh, they're on it right now.
they're on it now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Another thing, too, for the Valley Council of Governments, I would like to, or the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments, as it's called now.
There you go, yes.
I think what we should investigate, and even though it's not within our jurisdiction, is that rail line that runs up through the Housatonic River Valley. Now, that hasn't been used since 1997. The rails are abandoned. There's a switch down on Jerby Junction there, which hasn't been used. It's all overgrown. Is there any possible chance we could somehow get passenger service up to Danbury and further up? It might be a forethought. The line is abandoned. What are they using it for? It hasn't been used since 97. Now, there's another, this rail line that runs up through here. The northern jurisdiction is under Pan American Railroad, from what I understand. Now, I have heard that they would like to have passenger service going up to Hartford, you know, they'd like to.
Mhm.
But people are complaining they want it as a walkway. They want it as a, what do you call it?
Rail trail.
Trail. But how many of those things can we tolerate? We have to have railroads. This is a forethought for the next time you're at the Valley Council of Governments. What do they intend to do with these rail lines? They want to get people off the highways. And yet you have these things that are abandoned, and the trestles are rusting away. You wouldn't see this in Europe, you know? Okay, thank you.
I'll respond to that during my comments, Mr. Flynn, just because, as you know, I can't respond. Okay, is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? No?
Let's see if little Bruno has
That's what
something.
I'm looking at little Bruno, giving her a chance. No? Nothing? Okay. All right, so we'll close public comment. Go to Selectmen's comments. Karen?
Uh-oh. The only thing I really have tonight is that I've gotten a couple of phone calls regarding the fact that the Community Services Board is catering, and this is not my complaint, catering to children as opposed to senior citizens. With, in comparison to Oxford and Derby and other boards that run trips, I'm not saying, I'm not a big casino fan, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But they run trips, I think the only trip that the person who called me said they're going to Radio City Music Hall,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. But they complain about the fact that there aren't any other trips to places that are like a one-day trip.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you. That's one of the reasons why we redeveloped this. They're only 3 months in. So we're seeing tremendous progress. If we're having the same conversation in 6 months, then I think those would be actionable issues for us. I think we have to give them time. They're reinventing the wheel down there.
All right, well, I'm gonna make it a note because, you know, you know, I'm a high school teacher, and I think it's wonderful that we're doing things for kids. I think that's great. But we have a lot of seniors.
I wouldn't say, though, the Mary is giving any preference to kids over seniors.
Oh, I'm not saying preference.
But I think she's actually expanding or pushing the expansion of of all age groups and activities. I mean, we had nothing. We offered nothing. I mean, there's no other way, you can't candy coat that. What we offered to the public was poor compared to what our neighboring communities do.
But what I'm saying is that this board,
Which part?
we
Yes,
started the Boys and Girls Club,
yeah.
and when I go past the middle school and I see the children out on the field,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's wonderful, although I
We haven't,
seriously wonder about the geese on that field.
well, remember, the Boys and Girls Club is separate operation from us. They just rent the bottom floor of the community center from us. We have a recreation summer camp program, which is divided at Gary Park and Chatfield Park, which is the largest enrollment we've ever had. We have over 400 kids.
I know that. I know, because Fred and I go to lunch once a week at Legion Pool,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear
Mhm.
400 kids, yelling and screaming. But what about the seniors?
Again, what we previously had was woefully inadequate compared to the neighboring towns. That's why the seven of us made the decision that we did. They're making positive progress, but you have to give them some time. This is not something that they can do in 2 weeks.
Forgive me.
You don't have to apologize.
When I was at high school,
Mm-hmm.
I ran trips.
Mm-hmm.
It only takes 3 or 4 weeks to rent a bus, to get people down to Rockefeller Center. We always ran a trip at Christmas
You
time.
can't compare a contained audience like the high school, where you have the kids there in the classroom. Our biggest issue
No,
is,
no, no, no.
hold on, nobody uses the senior center.
We didn't run it for the high school kids, we ran it for the parents.
Understood, but how did you get the information home to the parents? You gave it to the kids that are right there in a captive audience.
Well,
The
we did-
problem we have is not enough people use the senior center. You'd be lucky if you get 15 people in there, any day of the week. So the first thing we have to do is bring them to the community center and improve the communications to get the information out. Saratoga trip as an example.
I'm going to Saratoga on Friday. But the problem is, you look at, I've got the page from Voices about what the
Mm-hmm.
senior center does in Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
And people call me and they say, oh, why do we have to go to Oxford? Why can't we go to Seymour?
Barry just discussed that.
We need
So you're-
more,
So you're basically saying she's not working fast enough. So the question is, why are you asking me this question, and why didn't you ask her that question when she was here? She's the director of the department.
you know what? First of all, she's brand new. Secondly, I don't know how in tune she is with this community.
Okay?
Does she really understand how many seniors we have?
I think so, yeah.
And I really feel that,
So you're saying she's brand new, so she hasn't had enough time to get this going? Because now you're arguing with yourself.
no, I'm not. What I'm saying is, there's an opportunity here for a new program to be developed, and it shouldn't take 3 months.
How long should it take? Do you
I-
understand the inadequacies of those two departments? Where we were?
No, tell me,
Where
what are
we
the
are.
inadequacies?
They were terrible. There was no communication. Like I said, you had 10 or 15 people in the senior center. Seniors go to Oxford, they go to
Why?
Derby.
Why?
Because there was no programming. She just can't snap her fingers and create more programming, because what happens is people don't come because they don't know. The communication is the first piece. They're improving the communication,
It's all marketing.
and now the people will start coming in.
You know what, forgive me, but that is not what my information is. My information is that because there is no programming, and because it's a closed club, and the people who go to the club disdain new people coming in. Now, I'm old enough to go there, and I don't go there.
Why don't you go there?
I don't want to
mean-
be old.
But, okay, so So let's go from there. My parents are 72. You ask my father if he's a senior, he'll get mad.
I'm 67.
But that's what I'm saying. You have to remember something. The senior center is different than it was because senior citizens are different than they were 25 years ago. They're more active. They're working later. They're doing different things. There's a lot more things going on. So the senior centers are not the central point of focus like they used to be. So what we need to do is we now need to cater to the new seniors, but at the same time, we can't neglect those in their late 70s, early 80s, and 90s that are still in very good health, that still go to the senior center. So that's what Mary has been working on over these last 3 months, and I'm sorry if you don't feel that she's doing things fast enough, but things need to be done the proper way. And again, these are questions that you wanted to have the Director of Community Services here. She was here, why didn't you address any of these questions directly to her? I don't run the Community Services Department. Ask me a question about the roads, ask me a question about the budget, I can answer those.
Oh, I can ask a question about the roads.
I can't, you had the department, you asked to have the department head here, the department head came, gave a report, there was an opportunity for questions. Why didn't you ask her these questions? That's all I'm saying. I mean, you can ask me the questions all you want, Karen, I don't take offense to it, I'm not upset about it, but I can't answer the questions as well as she can. What I see, and I'm very pleased with the work that she has done, with the direction she has taken that department over the last 3 months. I'm very, very happy. Tony is very happy.
Okay. I want her back here in 3 months to answer the phone calls that I'm getting from the elderly people who say, why the heck doesn't Seymour have anything for us?
Why don't these people call down there and speak directly to her?
Right.
Because they call me.
Okay, well, why don't you tell them to call the Community Service Department and have them speak directly to Mary? That's why they're there.
Okay, fine.
I don't see why that's a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing, but I just don't think that they're satisfied with the service that's being provided
The service that's been provided in the last 3 months or the service that's been provided previously?
previously.
Okay, so what does that have to do with the new Community Service Department that we put in that's about 3 months old?
Because a lot of people don't know we have a new service.
Okay, so you have the opportunity, you have them on the phone, why are you not telling them to call the new Community Service Department?
Exactly, right.
And again, it comes back to the initial point about communication. That's what this all comes down to. But, listen, Karen, we're gonna go round and round on this, so, anything else? I'll make sure that Mary's here in 3 months, and I'll have Mary come back at our next meeting. It's not a problem.
That would be great.
I'll have Rory make a note to ask Mary to come back to our next meeting. Or if you like, you can meet with her directly.
No, I think you should have her come back.
Have her, that's whatever you're most comfortable with.
Yeah,
Just let Rory know, and we'll have it set up.
Okay,
Not a problem.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm
Paul?
done.
Okay, just one question, and I know a lot of it is in our jurisdiction, but the issue that happened up at the senior housing sort of thing, and I know the police are doing what they can.
Mhm.
And that's where
Oh,
the
yes.
importance of a community policing officer,
Mhm.
to me, is a very important thing, and I know that they're working on that stuff now, so I hope some of these problems can be resolved up there.
I've met with the executive director, some of the board members, as well as their social worker. We had a very good discussion. As you know, I sent a letter to our federal delegation. The community officer, started actually this week. Person was appointed. Again, that was, we ran our police department numbers down because they became so low. We had a hard time filling a lot of these special positions. We're back up to the full 41 complement. Actually, I call them kids. They're not kids, but compared to us, they're kids. They just were officially sworn in last week, so we're back up to that full complement. So we had the community person put in. That officer will be half community and half SRO, also responsible for the downtown area. So that should improve. But the community services officer is not the personal police officer for the Seymour Housing Authority. That's
No,
something I need to
agree with you.
need to make
I
very
ju-
clear, but-
I just think the presence makes a difference.
I agree. I agree very much. And, that they will be spending time there. executive director of Seymour Housing is very comfortable with the choice that was made, so that presence will be known.
Good.
Okay,
Other than that, thank you.
perfect. Nicole?
Just to go off what Karen was saying a little bit, I thought Mary, I think she's doing a great job for only being in here for such a short period of time. She's bringing programs that we want into the town, and with what you said, Karen, with the elderly services and more programs, I think it's just like anything else, it's going to take time. If you get a constituent that talks to you about it, you can also have them call her, email her, and go and see her. You know, that's what we're here for. They call us, they ask us, and then we forward it to the appropriate people. But like I said, I'm very happy to see the website looks great, the webpage, and getting these services in and these trips, and it'll be great. At some point, I'm sure we will have international trips, and I think that's just moving our town forward into the direction that we'd like it to go. Thank you.
Nicole? All right, Al?
Yeah, I'd just like to, I had my notes about the Seymour Community Services and the Rec Department. I think Director Mary McNellis is doing a fantastic job. I hope she keeps it up. There's a marked difference in how she's going about getting the word out to folks and communicating about other offerings. It's great to see more programming that was not there in the past for all of our community members and for all ages and interests. And I love the ideas she's coming up with. Like Nicole was saying, just to echo it quickly, I applaud the marketing effort she has. Social media is the way to connect with people, old and young. And I love the way that she's going about it. She has a nice way about her. I've heard good feedback from folks in our community. So hopefully she keeps up the good work. I think she's going in the right direction. The other thing I just want to mention is I don't think it's necessary for her to come back next month. She said she'd come back in 3 months. I think an August report is not necessary. But town hall improvements, I just want to mention, we're walking in here, Katie and I were walking into the meeting, and it's just such a vast improvement from what the front of this town hall used to look like. The landscaping is now kind of taken root. We've had a lot of rain in the spring. Things have grown. It looks like a real town hall in the front. It looks wonderful with everything, all the improvements, and I'm glad that things are getting improved on the interior. It's just, things are looking up. That's it.
Emery?
I don't know where to start. All right, just in the Seymour Rec, it is nice to see that the website is up, and they are offering a lot more things for the whole community, not just the younger kids and the older kids, middle class, middle-aged people, like, some of us.
Thank you.
Yeah. The dog pound, I'm glad to see that is finally being put to bed, and we're gonna do something up there and take care of the little cute people up there, fur babies.
Well, it's not that we haven't done anything. I mean, I was
No,
following
we have done things, but we're just
the
addressing
direction of
the
the
issues.
ACO, right.
Addressing the issues, addressing what's going on in social media, and making sure that they're getting squashed, and, you know, the rumors are being put to bed, finally. My next thing was, I left our last meeting, I'll try to make this short, I left our last meeting kinda in a puzzlement. Thinking about the discussion about the parks, the gazebo, the fish bypass, and that whole discussion that the 7 of us had. And it left me with the big, what the heck did we do? When one of the meeting minutes came out, I looked, and a lot of the stuff is missing, and maybe I should have brought this up under the minutes, in discussion of the minutes, but going back to item 15, where we all agreed that it was a great idea to make, you know, name Jakimowski's point after Mr. Jakimowski, and then we started talking about the parks and commission, and there was some good feedback going back and forth, like, with all of us, for it, against it, whatever. My problem came to, we were elected as a board by the tax people, the town people, right, to do what's best for the town. So when we vote, we either vote yay or nay. If we have a strong feeling about it, when we abstain, it's because either we have a personal, it's gonna make us personal, it's gonna better us a personal way, or we don't have enough information about it. I think that if we're gonna abstain from something, like I abstained from the WPCA because I sit on that board.
so I felt it was best that I abstain. It was a conflict of interest. And I think that's the only time an abstention should be used. And again, this is just my opinion. If you're gonna have a strong opinion about it, then have the cookies to say yes, or have the cookies to say no.
Cookies?
Or cupcakes, or brownies. I don't care. But just if you're gonna voice your opinion about something, just say yes, or just say no. If you're gonna abstain because you don't wanna go either way, but you have a strong opinion about it, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't sit right.
I need to respond, because obviously you're talking about me.
No, I'm talking about in all votes today.
No, I abstained because my husband is legally involved with the person that we were voting on. And I didn't feel it was right for me to vote yes or no on that motion. My husband is an attorney, and he represents people. And if I know, I don't know to the full extent that he represents Al Yagavain, but I know he does.
But we're talking about just on the whole naming the gazebo. That's,
You don't understand what I'm saying.
maybe I don't, I'm sorry.
My husband is an attorney who represents people. And if I know that he's involved legally in legal affairs, I'm going to abstain. I hope you can understand that.
I do understand that, and I respect your stance on that, and I do, and I understand, I know Mr. Stanek an attorney, and I know he represents plenty of people in town.
Lots of people.
Then and again, this is just my opinion, is that I would just take myself out of an equation or a discussion.
That's what I did. I took myself out of it, which is why I abstained.
Okay.
Go ahead, Will.
Now, again, that was just my thought, just in going forward, if we're gonna abstain as a person, then that's just.
I've been
and
on
that's
this-
why I abstained today,
Wait,
was
wait, hold on.
because of
Can I-
WPCA.
Can I ask, again, I guess, a legal question along those lines, just kind of more in depth? If a person is going to abstain for whatever reason they have, so, you know, in Anne Marie's case, it was the WPCA being on the board. In Karen's case, it was because Fred represented a person, or that, you know, that was a client of his. Should they be involved in the conversation at all? I mean, no, to Anne Marie's point. No,
wasn't.
wait, hold on. To Anne Marie's point, had we had a discussion on the budget, should she then have not made any comments on the budget?
I think that's a personal decision, you can have your participation, because we don't typically know the reason for the extension. But you don't have to say that.
Right.
It's your personal decision that makes, filling the charter responsibility of that responsibility. So I think, pursue that on that.
No, that was just more curiosity for me.
If I may, I was under the impression that you should abstain if you would stand to gain personally
Financial
from
gain.
these motions. We both made motions on the track. We're on that committee.
But we're not gaining financially
We're not
from it.
gaining anything, and I don't think, you know, Anne Marie would have been gaining financially from
No,
the
I just didn't feel
WPCA
like
budget
voting
either,
on it,
so,
that's
I
all.
wasn't part of the police budget
you know,
Right.
negotiations.
Well, yeah, 'cause
That's
you would gain-
financially, that's going,
Right,
that's me.
that's different.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
But I mean,
Well, that's why we
I
kicked
always-
you out of the room.
Right.
I always use that as a guideline, you know, and, you know, well, what Karen is saying, it may affect,
Financially.
in a way, financially, you know, because of the client thing. So, it's possible, but, I think that's always a good guideline. If you know that, again, if you know that, then you shouldn't be part of the discussion either, of anything, if you know, if that's what your thought is.
I think that's good advice. Probably for you to vote for a reason.
We don't discuss it.
You know, because, I mean, because we sit up here, we are supposed to vote. If we vote, and we're supposed to take a stand on issues.
Well, I hope so.
Right.
That's our job.
So
That's what we got
abstaining,
voted for.
abstaining is not taking a position?
No, I'm not saying.
Wasn't
that.
abstention considered a vote with the affirmative, or how's it go?
Yeah, abstentions are, I mean, person's theory, an abstention is not to avoid voting, not, you have to be to avoid voting or to avoid taking a position. You know,
Right.
it's, you know, you're abstaining from voting, because of a conflict.
Conflict of interest.
That's-
Right.
It's not because you don't want to vote or you're,
Right.
it's going to pass and you don't want to vote no, you don't want people to think why you're not voting.
But then it's up to the public, right? It's up to the public, right? If you abstain, if I abstain in every vote that I have, it's up to the general public to say, do we want that person on our board of selectmen? Right, when it becomes a habit, yeah.
But Brian, let me ask you this. Why should I have to give a reason?
You don't.
You don't.
You just said that, you don't. You said
No.
you don't. Mine was just a general question. That was not directed at either of you. I was just more for my own curiosity.
Sometimes giving a reason would violate
Confidential, yeah.
communication. If you're determined to be stating the reason, it could be
Discipline.
violating attorney confidence.
Right.
If I'll represent someone, that may not be public information, it can help people to represent someone.
That'd be an issue. Right. That's not my privilege to waive, so to speak.
Well, it bothers me that I have to say tonight that my husband represents this guy.
You don't have to.
You didn't have to, you chose to.
But
That was your choice.
because I felt like I was being attacked.
I wasn't attacking. I didn't, if it came off as an attack, Karen, I'm sorry, I wasn't attacking you, but there has been times on this board, not just you, but myself or other board members where we have abstained just constantly because they would go back and forth and this is not you, this is past members. They would go back and forth with us, banter back and forth, and because
Couple
it
of times
didn't go their way.
That individual did that. Yeah.
They would abstain from voting.
Mhm.
So I just,
Not you.
and
Not
it
you.
was not you, and
Not
it
you.
wasn't
But
meant
Anne
for
Marie,
you.
I've been on this board for 4 years,
Mhm.
and I've abstained once in 4
Well,
years.
twice tonight.
What?
Twice tonight you abstained.
What do you mean I abstained
You
tonight?
You abstained twice tonight.
What?
Yes. You
I didn't
abstained.
abstain tonight.
Certainly did.
Well, it wasn't meant towards you. I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page, that when we're going back and forth, if we strongly feel strong about something, then we should say yes or no, and not just say, well, I don't want anybody to know how I'm voting, so I'm gonna abstain no.
Hey,
That
as
was
a side note, to put a little humor in this,
just my,
if Red Stanek is town council, and town council is here to protect me, can she have to then not vote on anything for me? So she always has to vote nicely for me, right?
He's only
Karen, I'm
really-
kidding, it's a
Oh.
joke, it's a joke. I'm trying to put a little humor in this. That's all. So,
Anything else?
anything else,
Anything else,
Amber? I was
Amber?
trying to put a little humor in that.
Kurt, I've abstained once in 4 years. Once.
That's okay, we got you twice tonight.
I didn't abstain tonight. What are you talking
How
about?
many times?
I didn't abstain
We were
tonight.
talking about the turf you did.
The turf?
Not
Yes.
the turf, the track,
Yeah, you abstained twice for that.
because you didn't know the issue.
Oh,
You're on-
I didn't understand the color.
You're on fire tonight with the abstentions. Now, Mr. Flynn, just under my comments, if I could, well, not responding to you, I'm just talking out loud. The Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments has made the Waterbury line, branch line, a priority. The governor did earmark some money for improvements to that line, from Bridgeport up to Waterbury. I can't have conversation with you though, so afterwards I can, but just to let you know on the record, that is a priority. I'll look into, well, talking in general to the board, I'll look into the Danbury branch line as well to see, but I haven't heard anything with regards to that. The priority has been the Waterbury branch line.
It's a shame, though, to see the Danbury lane just go to the
I don't disagree with that. So, okay, Brian, anything you'd like to add? No? Okay, if there's no other comments with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Wow, that was quick. Motion made by Anne Marie, second by Paul. Is there any discussion?
I'll think
I
Paul
know
said
Paul
a
didn't
word.
say anything.
I think Paul had a
All in
chance.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, man.
Abstained? chair votes aye, motion
I know
passes
better to say anything.
6-0. Mark the meeting closed at 8:24 PM. And have a lovely evening, everyone.
This was gonna be a 15-minute meeting.
Wow. Yeah, so, Mr.